Good morning, YouTube. This is Mike Palmer from Mike Palmer Homes. I want to tell you that we appreciate you visiting our site. And what we have here is a freshly prepared foundation. We are ready for framing. Framing is really fun because the house takes shape very quickly and we really start to see things happening and the whole thing comes to life. But the foundation, we prepare it in we do a lot of things in specific ways for specific reasons. So I'm going to go over those for you here really quickly. Anyway, this house has a brick front, but you notice how we've freshly graded this. We call this rough grade, and we put straw and seed there because you can see when you frame a house, when you put the roof on, water comes down before you get the gutters, and you get all that. You can get a bunch of orange residue on your brick, which we really try to avoid because it's pretty unsightly. That's one of our peeves. Certain things like in the garage here, you see all this gravel. All right, I like to put 57 stone. That is because it is 99% compact already, and you don't have to worry about your garage slab sinking or settling. There's some people put dirt in there and compact it. Some people just put crush and run over it. But I don't ever want that call where people calling me saying their garage slab is sinking. And I've seen it happen before. So that's something I really don't ever want to see happen. Now, you notice the height of this gravel. Okay, we have 12 inches back there. We only want 2 steps going into the garage to the house maximum. Otherwise, we have to put railings on there and the steps come out and take up garage space and you have railings in your way. And that is where you live your life. That is your most used path to travel. So we want to avoid steps. However, we have to pay attention to the height because the lot slopes down, so we had to put a lot of gravel in there, and the gravel bill can get pretty expensive. So when we're cutting and grading, we try to make sure that there's not too much slope in here. So we were able to cut out a bunch of volume of dirt here, bring it down here, rob Peter to pay Paul, because there was a 7-foot drop. Imagine 7 foot of stairs plus a row lock, 8 foot of stairs. That would be a massive set of stairs and railing coming up into the house, and that's not something so convenient to live with. Well, anyway, that's what we do with the garage. Now here, we call this rough grade because we want rainfall and water to slope away from the house. But when we dig the foundation and dig the footing, we have to dig a pretty deep trench in there to get down to load-bearing capacity soil. So I have seen some people start framing the house and they haven't filled that in. They haven't filled in the garage. They're waiting to do that later. But when you do that, you get rain and mud, and it's not safe for guys to step on, and it's hard for the framers to work. And I just really don't see the point of that. You may save a couple of days, but once you get lumber here, you never get another clear shot at this to do the grading because you always have stuff in your way. We still have a little bit of brick in the way, but that's movable. And so it's really hard for the graders to ever get this set right. Now, we've got, a good number of months, so I want the rain to hit this. I want this all to do what it's going to do. Let the soil settle, everything. So then we come back and finish grade. We're not just, that settling won't happen once people move in. They have their landscaping in. So, on the front porch here, these are all anchor bolts. These are vents. But on the front porch, all right, see how nice they poured the gravel up here? Your framing is going to go around this side, so this needs to be higher than the framing because we're going to flash that in and pour concrete on the front porch level with this step here. We do 4 inches of concrete. And you see this here? This is called row lock. This is a decorative brick. So we put a piece of wood on there to keep people from stepping on it and cleaning off the mud on their shoes because this red mud really can stain brick pretty badly. This is the low part of the foundation, so we have our crawl space access door. Now at the low part, we want to make it big enough to fit. We got to just fit an air handler under here and a water heater. So down here is our drain. We have a crawl space drain down here. So if any water does get in the foundation, it has some place to go. Now, you've seen we made some videos of this foundation earlier, and we showed you there's a French drain system here to keep water from getting in the foundation. But if a pipe bursts or if somebody does some landscaping, who knows what somebody's going to do to this lot in the life of this house. If water gets in, we want to have a place for it to go out. And there's a pipe for our drains. There's some other pipes. We will bury them and send them out the side of the lot later when we do our final landscape. Inside the foundation, as you see this, it looks like sand. They call it gravel fines or rock dust, they call it. so we can make a nice smooth surface to lay the vapor barrier on. Otherwise, if you just leave it red dirt, you can never really get it smooth, and there's indentations in it that can hold standing water or moisture. And I have had to crawl in crawl spaces in my youth and bring dirt in and try to level it out after the house is built. And that's very, very difficult. Not fun. So we spend a little extra money and make it a nice smooth foundation for the guys to work in. It makes it a lot easier for electricians and plumbers in there to be able to do their best work. And that's going to get covered with what we call a vapor barrier, which is a 6mm poly, which prevents moisture from coming out of the ground. It works as a barrier between the ground moisture and the floor system. This is going to be our back deck and screen porch right here. See, it's filled with gravel. We'll probably need a little more gravel towards the end when we pour it. But you see how this lot slopes. It's higher in the back and the front, so we had to grade it so any water runoff can drain this way. So this is very low to the ground. So that's why I go with concrete. Wood decks low to the ground, just not a great practice in my opinion. Well, anyway, that's how we prep a foundation. That's what it looks like before we put in the framing. You can see the height differential between that gravel. We had to bring in a good amount of gravel in there in that garage. You can see it from this angle. Anyway, that's what we do. Next video, I should come out here while we're framing. The next framing part we do, it's called open floor framing. We put in all your floor joists, frame out the floor, but we don't put the subfloor on top till the building inspector comes. They want to make sure, you know, all the piers are in the right spot and everything looks to code before we put the floor system on. And that way, if there is something the inspector doesn't like, it's much easier to adjust and make the needed adjustments before we build the house on top of it. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching our site, and we'll see you in the next video.